Hello, freak bitches. Well, you guys have been through such a fascinating change in music too, because I mean, obviously, Lars was a huge figure in the controversy surrounding MP3s. You know, and that was like during the Napster days. That was the time where everybody realized, like, holy shit, something just happened. You know, and I don't think we realized it back then. I think Lars, in a lot of ways, was one of the first people sounding the horn. He was one of the first people going, hey, all this selling record shit is going to go away. Like, do you understand what's going on here? People are just taking things and putting them online. And this was a totally new thing.
Absolutely. And that poor guy still, you know, he's taking bullets. He's taking hits for it still.
Still? Really? Where?
Oh, everyone who's got a beef with any other thing than, you know, Napster, it just gravitates towards that all the time. That poor guy, yeah, he got beat up by that, and we all stood behind him. Obviously, he was the spokesman for it. He chose to do that. Management said, "Hey, this is coming. This is coming. Let's be the ones that stand up for artists." And he took that. He grabbed the flag and said, "I'm going." And there were lots of other musicians and people that were on board as well, but they weren't as vocal or taking the hits like he did. There was something about, you know, even like a Dr. Dre, he was on board with it, but for some reason in the rap world, it's like, well, it's all about money anyway, so what? You know, for heavy metal, there was some kind of stigma around, you know, you're an asshole if you're rich or if you've been successful or something. It's like, we got to pull you down into hell with us. You know, don't be getting good now. You know. Yeah. So there was that stigma, but there were other artists that would show up at shows saying, "Hey man, I'm really glad you're doing what you're doing." It's like, come on, you know, join us. Oh no, I can't. oh no, my career would be over. It's like, you fuck. You know, it's so frustrating. It's like, dude, do you believe in it? Yeah. Then stand up. It's like, yeah, but no, it'll fall apart. Something will happen. My fans, blah, blah, blah. So they were concerned about their own careers and not the big picture of artists. And obviously these days you can see there's no copyright laws. There's no nothing, man. You can rip this and that and whatever and do whatever you want with it. There's a beauty to that, and a lot of creativity comes out of it, but it gets watered down. It gets, you know, I don't know. We acknowledge that, yeah, there's an inspiration somewhere for everything, but blatantly taking that and using it is pretty frustrating to me. And we were at that point where we had such a following, we had such a strength in Metallica that we survived all of that stuff. But there was a lot of bands that didn't, you know. They couldn't sustain themselves, couldn't feed their families because of what happened. And I think the frustrating part was no one really understood that music is our life, you know. If you take our, like, the way we want to present our music is part of the art.
Like in an album, meaning like one song leads to the next song, meaning...
Well, like releasing an album. Here's how we'd like to release it. Right. We don't want it leaked over here. We don't want this happening. We don't... Right. You know, a presentation is part of the art. Like when you walk into an art studio, the artist has been in there putting it together. Like, okay, I want you to see this first, and then that, and then you go here and you get bam, you know? That there's a passion behind that. And when someone just throws it out there... And it just, it kind of loses an impact. So if I'm complaining, punch me in the face. But we have survived and we feel good about it and we've adapted. But the record company certainly did not. You know?
No, they took a hard hit. No. But also, you know, when you look at the record deals, the deals that record companies make with artists, and you see, like, what are record companies selling? Well, they're only selling your work. Without your work, without your creativity, without your creations, there's nothing to sell. That's all they sell. But then you look at these insanely one-sided deals that they cut with artists, especially emerging artists. They might be a little bit more desperate, don't realize the potential, especially the potential for income that they might have in the future. I mean, I've seen some of those. I don't know. There was that one that somebody said that Courtney Love didn't really write it, that it was ghost written. I don't know who the fuck wrote it, but Courtney Love put it out saying that she wrote it, but it was a breakdown of how artists make money, from the creation of the creation of an album to having it sold in record stores to where the money gets extracted and how much is left for the actual artist. It's pretty fucking disturbing.
Yeah, even a couple years ago, we got the rights to our catalog. Our music from Kill 'Em All up till now. We own it, finally, which is weird. I tell my kids, hey, let's go celebrate. We got the master recordings. We own it finally. And they were just looking at me like, what the hell are you talking about? You wrote it. Why isn't it yours?
Right.
Okay, well, I had a little talk about how it was back then, You would somewhat sell a little bit of your soul to get a bigger something, It was basically the record company was a bank and a marketing tool to get you where you wanted to be. So, it was a necessary thing at that time. But it's great to have our stuff back and be able to, we own our own record press. How cool is that?
Whoa.
In Germany, one of our management people found a place that had some machines that were for sale, and we bought one, and so we press our own vinyl, man.
Wow.
And
old school.
We could kind of do whatever we want. What color vinyl today, or what crazy things you can do,
Well, you guys can kind of do whatever the fuck you want now, right?
Pretty much.
You don't need a record company. You can do anything.
Well, it depends. We have a record company. We own our own in America, or North America. The rest of the world's a little tougher. There's a lot of countries out there, especially in Europe, and there's no way we can deal with the distribution in each different country. So we've cut really good deals with other record companies that have a vision and have a love for Metallica and understand that this is powerful stuff and people love it and we want to be part of the family. But having your own record press is a pretty darn cool thing. That was really inspired by Jack White, who, of White Stripes fame, Raconteurs. He's done a lot of stuff, but he loves that stuff. He's pressing his own stuff. He's coming up with different ways of doing vinyls and colors and hidden tracks and cool stuff like that. And it's just another way to get creative in your career.
Is vinyl what's selling more than anything now when it comes to actual physical hard copies of things?
I don't know the numbers, and they probably vary all over the place, but vinyl has never gone away. And it's I don't know if it's coming back, but it's more popular than it was. I think there's just something tactile about it. There's something great that people are finally understanding, that you can look at artwork, you can feel it, and then the ritualization of opening up the player, taking it out and blowing on it, cleaning it, putting it down, setting the needle down, and it's something really cool. I came down to LA a few months ago and hung out with some high school buddies. It's like, hey, what do you want to do? Let's listen to some songs. And he takes out the Kansas, album, puts it on, and carry on our wayward son. Exactly. I was like, dude, this sounds so great.
Wow.
Yeah, and we were actually listening to music, sitting down, listening to it. My kids got into vinyl. They got like at Urban Outfitter, you buy the little, the setup now, and that's where you can get vinyl. There are some record stores out there, but that's where they gravitate towards. Got them this little player, and they just picked out some album covers. They didn't even know who they were. It's like, this cover looks cool. This speaks to me. I'm buying this.
I remember doing that kind of thing.
Oh,
finding
hell yeah.
a cool cover.
Yep. That's how I discovered tons of bands. So they go into their room, and, I leave them alone for a while, and they come back. They haven't come out. It's like, what's going on? I look in there. The record player's on the floor. There's covers and stuff strewn out all over the place, and they're laying on the floor listening to it. It's like, that was me, you know. And my daughter comes out. She said, "Dad, you'll never guess what." Like, what? There's songs on the other side. Like, oh my God. Yeah, it's not a CD, you know? It's like she discovered some huge thing, you know?
Wow. Well, that was one of the things that was not, what is this? Vinyl sales outperformed digital downloads for the first time.
Nice.
Wow. Shows a significant shift in how people are consuming music. That's really interesting, man.
I tell you, that's just cool. In general,
Yeah.
The more ways you can get music to people, the better.
Well, I think the other thing that you were saying, it's like it's a whole presentation, the album cover, you open it up, the inside, the artwork, all that represents your vision of what you guys are trying to put out. And that was one of the things that kind of went away with digital. Like all of a sudden, there were no album covers, or the CD was that big. So you couldn't really, there wasn't, it's like a tiny little piece of art.
Yeah.
And if you're downloading it, you're not even getting that. You're just
Right.
getting the music itself. That's it.
Well, you would get downloadable artwork, but you're not really looking at the artwork while you're listening to it on your mobile device.
Right.
You know, so the event of sitting down and disappearing into the music, being a real music listener. While you're driving, I get it. It's keeping you from killing people on the road, but when you go home and you sit and you just get lost in stuff. Even like the cheap friggin' headphones, man, the little earbuds. My kids were listening to stuff on that. It's like, you guys haven't experienced music, like good sound. Here, try these headphones on. They're like, whoa, I hear stuff I didn't hear before. And but just seeing my kids get excited about going to a live concert, they go there and they absorb it in like every sense. You're not just having your ears hear something. And that will never be, I don't know, maybe the friggin' goggles or some kind of audio-visual stuff will reproduce live shows. But there's something about being next to a sweaty fucker at a gig and, them pushing you or, seeing someone headbang wildly or getting thrown over the top of you, and there's just so much smells, things like that just can't be recreated. So live music, my daughter just like, I can't believe that guy just pressed a button on his computer and he's singing over his own music. That's not performing, She discovered that on her own. Hey, these guys are actually playing their instruments. And they fucked up. They fucked up a song. It was so cool. I saw something that I wouldn't have, really cool like that.
Yeah, the lip syncing thing, man. That when you go to see a concert and you find out that people are lip syncing, that's so disturbing. It's just what have you done? What is the point of this?
It is disappointing.
What is live performance? Live performance is supposed to be you're experiencing this thing actually happening. You're watching this person express themselves.
Right.
They're not pretending. You're not supposed to be pretending.
Right. Are you pretending you're you? Whoa,
you should be able to get your fucking
weird.
money back. Because you're not
Yeah.
that's pretending. That's not singing.
I've gone to see plenty of shows with my kids, and you can tell. It's like, all right, the mic's way over here, and they're still singing, and it's like, well, they have to have the backing tracks because they're dancing and they're out of breath. It's like, well, fucking stop dancing and do the song. Are you a dancer or are you a musician or a singer
up your
or whatever?
fucking cardio. Start running hills. It can be done.
There you go. Come to Vail and run up the 14er.
Exactly. It can be done.
But I've seen shows where there's that going on, and then they'll get real. Like sit down on a couch, plug in an acoustic, and sing out of key, and like really try and struggle with the song or sing it. It's like that's natural. That feels good. Who would not gravitate towards that?
Yeah.
Than listening to the album. I can listen to the album at home.
Yeah. That's why it's cool to just see an acoustic set sometimes from people. Mm-hmm. Just like it's as minimal as possible. You're breaking it down to the bare bones, just a guitar and two people singing or something,
Yeah, that is pretty intimidating. I tell you, when we do like that Neil Young benefit where it's, acoustic only, and you're friggin' naked up there, dude. Every note is like, and every fuck up on the vocal. It's great, I mean, it's like when you go or you're going to be on a TV thing and they put makeup on you. It's like, why are you doing that?
Right.
You know?
Exactly.
So when people see me in person, they think, "Damn, you're one ugly fucker." Man. It's like, no, I want to be as ugly as possible to everyone. So when they see me, they go, "Hey, it's you." You know?
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, you're not airbrushed.
Right.
Yeah, you see a Photoshop of yourself and it's like, they smoothed out all your lines and you're like, what the fuck are you doing? What have you done to me?
Sometimes you got to do it, or like, if you're in a band like I am and the three guys get the stuff put on and then I show up, it's like, dude, oh my God, you're shiny.
Exactly. It's like people are going to go, fuck this band. That dude's sweating.
Yeah. Right.
When it comes to the Napster thing and what happened with Lars, I feel like there's two different things. There's what's really happening and there's how people look at it. And what's really happening was like all of a sudden this door got opened up or this Pandora's box got opened.
Right.
And you guys were looking at it going, well, this is, we're going to lose our record sales. Like, do you understand that, like, people have been consuming music in a certain way, you've been paying for music, and that paying for music has supported all these people that are a part of this industry that makes albums. There's this gigantic thing behind it. This is all going to go away because you just put a hole in the bottom of it and all the money's going to get dropped out.
Mm-hmm.
But then the way it looks is, look at this rich motherfucker. He doesn't appreciate his fans. Hey, man, I can't afford your album right now. Is it okay if I just download it for free? And a lot of people thought, well, hey, people who can afford it will still be downloading it, and then they'll buy it when they can. But that wasn't really the case, was it?
No, I don't know. I'm all for convenience in the technology moving forward. Getting music out to people is the important part, but just make sure the artist gets what they deserve from it. Because without that, it's going to become a hobby. No one wants, I don't want to see the paramedic show up at my house and it's like a hobby for him. Hey, right. I'm not really getting paid for what I think I should get paid for, my creation, but I guess I'll save your life, maybe. People didn't relate that to their career or something equivalent.
Well, I think because the money wasn't equivalent. They looked at you guys like, you guys are already so rich. What do you give a shit? There's no way you're going to be broke. You guys made millions and millions and millions of dollars. You tour all over the world. And it became the touring thing was the way artists made money then, right?
Touring and merchandise. And that's now how record companies are structuring their deals. Hey, we get a piece of your merch and touring.
See, that's bizarre, though. Yeah, the record companies getting a piece of your touring, to me, is very strange. And I've seen not just a piece, but an exorbitant amount. Mm-hmm. And that disturbs me.
Well, that's the only way they can survive now.
They shouldn't be around then, because then you become a parasite, because you don't deserve it. I mean, especially now where bands can literally become gigantic because of YouTube. Mm-hmm. I mean, didn't Justin Bieber become huge just entirely because of YouTube? Right. Jamie knows. Look at him. He's a fucking Justin Bieber fan. He hides it.
Hey, me too.
First I heard him sing, I thought it was a girl. I didn't even know it was I didn't know.
Well, I tell you, the whole, would you go up to the artist and take that out of his pocket? Would you go into a record store and just lift that, steal it, run out the door with it? Would you do that with, okay, there's big corporations that are rich, and would you go walk in and just steal their stuff? I mean, there's software companies that are massive. Would you go in there and just rip their stuff? I don't get that mentality. I don't, call me old school, but you need to earn what you get. And if it gets stolen from you, it doesn't make any sense. It's hard to fathom. And what it seems like to me, and I could be talking out my ass, but the record companies dropped the ball, and the new record companies became iTunes. They control it all. Here's how much we're charging for your music, and here's how much you're going to get. Everyone's even. It's like some communist approach, And I don't understand. I don't understand that. If we're an artist and we make a lot of money, that's up to us. If we give all our money away to charity, or we throw it back into a movie that bombs, which happened, that's our choice. We're the fucking artist. We get to do what we want. It's our party. You're invited, and we can destroy this thing if we want. I don't want you to destroy it.
Yeah, the iTunes distribution model is a very bizarre one. It's very strange how they've sort
They
of
don't know what they're doing. No one knows what they're doing. And, there was a system that worked, and I'm up for bucking the system and making it better, but it didn't. It didn't get better. It's like you said, the cat got out of the bag, and you can't put it back in, man. You just can't. So what do? Well, you got Spotify, or you got something else where streaming's going to help get the artists their money. And it's companies like that are losing money a lot. And
Spotify?
I don't know the exact workings, and I'm not going to speak for them at all, but it hasn't been figured out yet, is what I'm saying. It hasn't been figured out how to make a music model work, and there's no one way. Maybe there will never be one way again, and that's fine, but it's still unbalanced.